Grace and teamwork. Oh, I just love this idea of grace. And I love the phrase, just a blanket of grace towards yourself, towards your partner, towards your beautiful relationship. And again, this idea that we are a team. So anything that my partner is struggling with, anything that I'm struggling with is our thing, that we are a team with everything. And I think it can be easy in the 3D world to have thoughts like, oh, my partner has all this stuff and it's his stuff or it's her stuff, and just sort of very separate, sort of separation consciousness. And, from our orientation, it's, if they're struggling, it's mine too. And often not often, we're always co-creating with our partner. So really that's the truth. And we're co-creating with everybody. So it's sort of obvious, this whole point, really.
Yeah. Like the reason that I'm triggered, when I get triggered, the reason that I'm triggered is because I have a distortion or a wound in me that's asking to be healed. And that's why the situations come about. Like that's the higher perspective of why it's all happened.
Yes.
And if we can try to remember that, then we can be okay with like, oh, they didn't do anything to me. They're helping me, really. It's totally hard to step at it that way, to notice it that way. Yes. But another way you could try to look at this is, I'll use maybe baseball as a reference. In baseball, if you're on your team and one of your teammates has an error, right? The ball's coming and they should catch it, but they don't. You're not going to go flip out on them and tell them how stupid they are and how they suck at baseball. Right. And just to that you wish they weren't on the team, right? You're not going to do that because you're a team, and yes, they made an error. They didn't catch the ball. They didn't do the thing. But in that error, you're going to go over and say, don't worry, it's okay. We got this. We got your back. We're together in this. We're a team, right? So, and we totally can just forget that entire concept so easily in relationships. And I don't think I've ever, other than in this relationship, really truly understood this type of framework at all.
Yes. And I'm thinking right in this moment that in the very beginning, perhaps after the person who's initiating the conversation, hopefully says, I think we can move through this. The other person, it would be so amazing if they could have that team aspect that, okay, don't worry, we can do this. So it'd be so great if each person at the outset was able to offer that reassurance, that affirmation that, yes, we can, we are a team, we got this. Even some high fives beforehand.
Yeah.
Go team.
Good job not catching that ball.
Yeah. I think it's so
now
cool.
We know where we can improve.
Because you're just setting the orientation. You're setting the energy that we are, okay, whatever we're going to talk about it, we're doing it as a team and we got this. We can do this.
Yep.
I love that. Okay. Next point.
Maintain a bridge between each other. So this is sort of part of, I think, part of the teammate stuff as well. It's sort of trying to maintain a connection, trying to maintain the open heart and the connection and the understanding that you guys are working on something together. And, if somebody pulls away, the bridge kind of falls apart, right? The communication stops really working. If one person's really trying to be open and communicative and achieve clarity and the other is not interested, it's probably not the right time. There's probably, you want to be in a state where both of you are connected and trying to work through it. And if I'm bringing an issue to Tassel and she just is like, I don't want to talk about it, right? Because she does that so often. But I don't think she's ever done that.
So
ever.
Not me.
I don't think ever that she's done that. But if she were to do that, then clearly, it takes two to build a bridge. It takes two to come together with this bridge, right?
Yes.
And if the other person isn't there with you to do this, then you need to request that they do, right? You need to ask them to come back to do this. And a lot of that is about establishing trust and helping them understand that it's safe. Or it may mean that you need to give them a little bit of space. Maybe they've had their own experience. It's been really challenging for them. And maybe you did too, but you've worked through your part quicker than they did, and they're still upset. Both people are having their unique experience, and the goal is to come together with it and keep that bridge open. But sometimes that bridge doesn't get quite established, and that can indicate either there's a lack of trust or some fear going on, or it can indicate that it's just maybe not the right time. And I think paying attention to that is really important, because I don't think that we can force it. I don't think we can force this to happen. It needs to happen from a place of sort of safety and security, trust and acceptance, and like an aligned, combined goal together.
Yeah. And this particular point came out of, I think for me at least, our most painful conversation interaction ever. And it only happened maybe 6 weeks ago or so, where I felt the bridge between us had collapsed. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, we're not even friends right now. Like there's no bridge. And it was one of the most painful moments in our relationship. So it really burned within my soul how helpful it is to try to always maintain that bridge. And I'm really just noticing that every single concept we have, these 16 concepts, are from particular sort of catastrophic conversations that we've had.
That's awesome.
Where we learned something really profoundly. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to let everybody know, we're on point number
11?
12.
Oh, 12.
12 now, and we have 16. So 5 more, because I know it probably seems like there's a lot. We've been talking for a while. Okay, but we're getting through them. Okay, the next one, I think this is so helpful. So after the whole conversation, this might even happen the next day. This particular catastrophic conversation where the maintain the bridge concept grew out of, we were repairing and debriefing for like a week after. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I don't know which conversation this particular thing was.
Yeah. We had this particular conversation on a Sunday. And then I think through the next Friday, we were repairing and debriefing about it, which we needed to. And, it was positive, but we had just gone quite far into some wounding. So anyway, I just think this is such a really essential piece, especially in really, really painful conversations where maybe we haven't been following these aspects very well. So a beautiful question I think you can ask your partner is there anything you need after that whole experience that we just went through? Is there anything you need? Is there anything I can do to help? Just so open-heartedly asking, is there anything I can do at this point?
Yeah, that's my go-to is there anything that I can do to help? Like whether it's,
you say that a lot. It's so beautiful. You say that a lot.
Yeah. Cause I mean, a lot of times it's very unclear what I can actually do.
Yes.
Or if there's something that I'm being asked to change that I'm not picking up.
Yes.
Like I like to have it very direct and just say like, what are we asking for me to do here? And then if I can do that reasonably, I'll try to. Yeah. It's this comes back to that serving each other and trying to be of service to each other, and to approach things in ways that that your partner is more comfortable with, providing it still feels aligned with you. You want to be always true to yourself, right?
Yes.
And authentic. So you don't want to, placate them or, pretend to like stuff you don't like.
Yes.
You don't want to do that stuff, because that's just going to create this feeling of inauthenticity, a feeling of disharmony, probably resentment and stuff will start to build. You don't want to do that stuff. And so sometimes, they may ask you to do something you're not comfortable with, and then you have to continue, going back and forth, maybe find a middle ground, but just the offering of like, what can I do to help in this situation? Or what can I do maybe next time differently? What can I try to keep in my consciousness that to be aware of, that type of thing.
Yep. And it might even just be, oh, can I just like talk a little bit more about sort of what happened? It might just be to listen a little bit more.
Exactly. Yeah. It can be very, very simple.
As that. And then part of the debriefing, you and I did this sort of naturally after a difficult conversation, was to share 3 things, or it could be less than that or more than that, but to share some things that you noticed about yourself from the whole interaction that just took place. Mm-hmm. And, it could be like, oh, I notice how easily I go into this particular story with this sort of trigger. Or I noticed that it probably could serve us if I waited a bit to talk until I've done some more inner work. Just whatever comes up, whatever you notice from that experience. What are your takeaways? What are your big takeaways from what you just experienced about yourself? What maybe do I want to shift?
Yeah, and it's important to notice, like, we're not talking about the other here. Right. We're talking
about you,
what I noticed about my behavior, my thoughts, my emotions, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just more self-reflection, really, just more inner work. Okay. Beautiful. Next one.
Container for expansion. So this goes back to, so we've talked about this a little bit already. But we want to try to always remember that the relationship, the purpose of it, while it's fun to do stuff together and to go to dinner and to have fun and have good communication, make out, whatever, all that stuff's great. But really the purpose is for you to see yourself and to expand, like expand your consciousness and grow and mature, really is sort of the, and I don't mean mature as in, actually, I think mature is coming back into your childlike wonder, right? So I don't mean becoming more adult-like when I say mature, but it's about expanding, not constricting. And the relationship is sort of the vessel that you're both agreeing to participate in order for this to happen. And in fact, even if your relationship is, you could say it's horrible, let's say, if your relationship is horrible, you can just realize, I'm still learning a lot though. Like I'm still having a lot of experiences with this horrible situation. And I can still appreciate that.
Necessarily stay in something that feels horrible.
No. Yeah. Right. I'm just saying that no matter what's going on.
Yes. You're learning. You can grow. Yeah.
You're growing and
learning.
As long as you're, sort of trying to approach things consciously, trying to approach things as aware as you can, at least of yourself, regardless of what your partner's doing, trying to just be honest and authentic with yourself while feeling your feelings and assessing yourself and doing the self-reflection, you're going to expand and expand and expand. And the relationship can do that together. So, that's one of the primary goals of this method is to make sure that both are on that same page, and then everyone kind of grows together. And you'll end up finding that a lot of the issues that you had earlier on, even if the same behaviors occur, a lot of that gets healed through the relationship and these discussions, and it stops being so much of an issue. So you end up expanding and being able to hold it. So now the experience that used to trigger you doesn't, because your partner helped you heal that already.